This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. History of Holland by George Edmundson. Prologue. The title, History of Holland, given to this volume is fully justified by the predominant part which the great maritime province of Holland took in the War of Independence, and throughout the whole of the subsequent history of the Dutch state and people. In every language the country, comprising the provinces of Holland, Zeeland, Utrecht, Friesland, Gelderland, Overijssel, and Groningen, has, from the close of the 16th century to our own day, been currently spoken of as Holland, and the people, with the solitary exception of ourselves, as Hollanders. It is only rarely that the terms of the Republic of the United Provinces, or of the United Netherlands, and, in later times, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, are found outside official documents, just as the title History of England gradually includes the histories of Wales, of Scotland, of Ireland, and finally of the widespread British Empire. So it is in a smaller way with the history that is told in the following pages. That history, to be really complete, should begin with an account of medieval Holland in the feudal times which preceded the Burgundian period, and such an account was indeed actually written, but the plan of this work, which forms one of the volumes of a series, precluded its publication. The character, however, of the people of the provinces of Holland, and of its sister and closely allied province of Zeeland, its qualities of toughness, of endurance, of seamanship and maritime enterprise, spring from that peculiar amphibious nature of the country, which differs from that of any other country in the world. The age-long struggle against the ocean and the river floods, which has converted the marshes that lay around the mouths of the Rhine, the Meuse, and the Scheldt, by toilsome labour and skill into fertile and productive soil, has left its impress on the whole history of this people. Nor must it be forgotten how largely this building up of the elaborate system of dykes, dams, and canals, by which this waterlogged land was transformed into the Holland of the closing decades of the 16th century, enabled her people to offer such obstinate and successful resistance to the mighty power of Philip II. The earliest dynasty of the Counts of Holland, Dirks, Floris, and Williams, was a very remarkable one. Not only did it rule for an unusually long period, 922 to 1299, but, in this long period without exception, all the Counts of Holland were strong and capable rulers. The fiefs of the first two Dirks lay in what is now known as North Holland, in the district called Kennemerland. It was Dirk III who seized from the bishops of Utrecht some swampy land amidst the channels forming the mouth of the Meuse, which, from the bush which covered it, was named Hotland, Holland or Woodland. Here he erected in 1015 a stronghold to collect tolls from passing ships. This stronghold was the beginning of the town of Dordrecht, and from here, a little later, the name Holland was gradually applied to the whole country. Of his successors, the most illustrious was William II, 1234 to 1256, who was crowned King of the Romans at Aachen, and would have received from Pope Innocent IV the imperial crown at Rome, had he not been unfortunately drowned while attempting to cross on horseback an icebound marsh. In 1299 the male line of this dynasty became extinct, and John of Avesnes, Count of Hainault, nephew of William II, succeeded. His son, William III, after a long struggle with the Counts of Flanders, conquered Zeeland and became Count henceforth of Holland, Zeeland, and Hainault. His son, William IV, died childless, and the succession then passed to his sister Margaret, the wife of the Emperor Louis of Bavaria. It was contested by her second son William, who, after a long drawn-out strife with his mother, became in 1354 Count of Holland and Zeeland, with the title William V. Margaret retaining the country of Hainault. Becoming insane, his brother Albert in 1358 took over the reins of government. In his time the two factions, known by the nickname the Hooks and the Cods, kept the land in a continual state of disorder and practically of civil war. They had already been active for many years. The Hookes were supported by the nobles, by the peasantry, and by that large part of the poorer townsfolk that was excluded from all share in the municipal government. The Cods represented the interest of the powerful burgher corporations. In later times these same principles and interests divided the Oranje and the States parties, and were inherited from the Hookes and Cods of medieval Holland. The marriage of Albert's son William with Margaret, the sister of John the Fearless, Duke of Burgundy, and of John the Fearless with Albert's daughter Margaret, were to have momentous consequences. Albert died in 1404 and was succeeded by William VI, who before his death in 1417 caused the nobles and towns to take the oath of allegiance to his daughter and only child Jacoba, or Jacqueline. Jacoba, brave, beautiful and gifted, for 11 years maintained her rights against many adversaries, chief among them her powerful and ambitious cousin, Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy. Her courage and many adventures transformed her into a veritable heroine of romance. By her 3 marriages to John, Duke of Brabant, with Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester, and finally with Frans van Borselen, she had no children. Her hopeless fight with Philip of Burgundy's superior resources ended at last in the so-called Reconciliation of Delft in 1428, by which, while retaining the title of Countess, she handed over the government to Philip and acknowledged his right of succession to the countship upon her death, which took place in 1436. G.E. November 1921. End of Prologue.